Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to a Notes of Gracious YouTube channel. I hope everybody has had a good week. So let's talk about when we were young. I had a good childhood. I'm not gonna lie. I believe I had a good childhood. I grew up in a stable home with two parents, my brother, my sister, grew up in the church, all that good stuff. And we moved from Zimbabwe to New Zealand when I was very young. So I am not gonna sit here and bash my childhood and bash anybody. I believe I had a good upbringing. It provided me a lot of great opportunities that I'm super grateful for now. But I want to talk about some of the lessons I wish I had learned when I was a child that I believe I'm kind of only learning now as an adult. And for me, I believe I'm really only seriously learning these lessons because I'm about to be a mom. I'm so close to giving birth to my baby girl. So, as a young child, I've always been kind of strong and, kind of independent. I've always kind of known my own mind. I've always kind of known who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do from a very young age. But I think I lacked the tools to execute some of those things. I lacked the tools to execute kind of that personality and really make it a reality for myself. So as somebody who's about to be a girl mom, what are the things that I want my daughter to learn when she's young, growing up, so that when she is in her late age, she doesn't have to worry about those things. So I wrote down a few things here that I really want to speak about. So for me, there was one thing that was constantly preached at me, talked at me, drilled into me, and that was get married, marriage. I had people wanting to approach me for marriage from the age of 19. Now at the time, thinking about it now, at the time it sounded so great, it looked so good on paper. Yes, I'm going to be a young wife, I get to spend the rest of my life with the love of my life. At that age, it seemed so good, and I was so focused on that. That was something I wanted so badly, and that is something that could have actually happened to me from about the age of 19. And it was something that at the time I was really excited about, but looking back at it now, I didn't have anything to offer other than probably my body. I did not have anything to offer. I had not finished uni. I hadn't really even started saving money properly. I didn't know anything about life. I didn't even have a license. I couldn't drive. I'd never lived alone before. I never really properly paid a bill before. And so just looking back at it now, I really wish this wasn't something that I was so focused on at the time. I wish it wasn't something that I was over preparing myself for, because I feel like it really clouded my judgment and it really closed me off from pursuing so many other good things. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being married young. It's beautiful. I believe in love. I believe in marriage, and it is definitely something that I intend on doing in my life. But I just feel like at that time, back then, I was too young for it, and I should have been pursuing other things. Like, I'm telling you, there is nothing I've prayed for in my life like the way I've prayed for a husband, right? And so I wish at the time, I just wish I'd been taught or I'd known that there is more to life. And so number one is I want to teach my daughter, and I wish I had known to make balanced prayers. Like I said, marriage was the one thing I prayed for more than anything in the world, but I never really much prayed on learning to be a mom and being a good mother, or learning to be a good boss at work or a good manager at work. And I started managing people in my career when I was like 23, but I didn't really know how to do that properly, or learning to be a good leader, or learning to save money. Although I wish I'd made more balanced prayers about what I needed and wanted in my life. And as a girl child, I just wish somebody has really set me down and be like, save money, invest, and have your own income, because you don't know what is going to happen in life. So I've been working for a very, very long time. I've been working since I was probably about 18 years old. So that's over, 10, 11 years that I've been working. But I wish I had known to start saving my money 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Just imagine where I would be right now if that had really been something that had been taught to me, if that had been something that was a priority in my life. I would be so far ahead and so far along in my life now, because it's really hard to feel like you're gonna depend on somebody. Financial independency is so important, especially for a girl child. It is so important. So I wish there was something that I'd been taught more, and I wish that was a childhood lesson that I had learned. Number 2, getting educated. So I'm educated. I have my degree, but I've always wanted to do my master's, and I've been preaching and talking about doing my master's for so long. And now, because I am having my baby, that is something that I have now to push back a few more years until I can actually have time to do that. But I just wish I'd done it earlier. I had the opportunity to do it earlier. I had the opportunity to finish off my degree and get my master's. I had the opportunity to do that, but it wasn't really taught to me of how important it is, which I believe education is very, very important. It wasn't really taught to me. It wasn't really pushed on me. And I just wish somebody had really set me down and be like, look, you can do you've always wanted to do your master's, do it now. This is the time for you to do it. You don't have kids right now. You're not married right now. You don't have responsibilities right now. Do it right now. And even if it wasn't about education, but just sharpening the talents that I have. So for you, it could be braiding hair, or you're a really good cook, focusing on the things that you're really good at, because education is not for everybody. So focusing on the things that you're really good at. Like, let's say I could braid hair, and I started braiding hair at the age of 18. I would be well sought after now. But sharpening my talents and my skills wasn't really something that I was pushed to do. It wasn't really something that I was taught to do. It was admired within me, and I admired it about myself. But I just wish I had learned back then to really sharpen my talents and really push more on my education. Number 3, getting out of messy situations. Oh my gosh, I wish somebody had really set me down and taught me this. Like, as you grow up, right, you're gonna start dating, you're gonna want to get into businesses, you're gonna start meeting other people, you're gonna get into friendships. I wish I had been taught how to get out of messy situations, whatever that looks like. I wish somebody had told me, look, boundaries are important. If anybody doesn't respect your boundaries and they cross them, gone. Don't negotiate, don't make excuses, don't ignore red flags. I wish that had been taught to me. I believe if that had been taught to me at a younger age, I would have made better decisions growing up. I would have made well thought out decisions growing up that I'm only really starting to take seriously and make now on my way to my 30 journey. So yeah, I just really wish I'd been taught in my childhood how to get out of messy situations. I can do that now, but I've had to teach myself over the course of my 20s to really get out of situations that don't serve me, and even get out of situations where I feel like I'm the messy person. So business, friendship, work, I really had to not just be like, okay, I have a job, I pay my bills. If it is not working, get out, find something else. You can do better. You know how to do this thing, right? I went to uni to be an event manager. I should have been able to get out of messy situations at work, at home, in relationships, whatever it may be. I really wish this was a lesson that somebody taught me, and I intend on teaching my daughter how to do that. And just thinking for yourself, I did a video about self-trust, and I said that the first decision I'd ever made in my life was at the age of 23. For me, I think that was too late. I think I should have been able to think for myself earlier. That way, I probably would have been making better decisions in my teenagers, in my 20s, going up. I really wish somebody had taught me and set me down and be like, look, think for yourself. You have a great mind. You are capable of making good decisions. Sit down and think for yourself. Like I said, I've always been quite strong and I've always had a really good, bright mind, but I wasn't taught to have a good, bright mind. It just naturally came. But thinking for yourself is something that I wish I'd learned when I was younger, and it's something that I hope that I can pass on to my daughter. And lastly, being flexible and not having like a tunnel vision of what you think or believe that life is supposed to be, because that is not how it turns out. I made a video previously that I'd never imagined myself being single and pregnant or preparing myself to be a single mother. The only picture I ever had was mom, dad, then the kids. I'd never ever considered that there was any other picture of a family that's not that. It wasn't anything that I'd ever been exposed to. It wasn't even anything that anybody had ever talked to me about. I'd seen it in other homes, but it just felt like I was watching a movie, watching those lives, watching those people. But now that I am in a situation where I'm gonna raise my baby girl by myself, I'm like, I just wish I had been more flexible. I just wish I'd known more things about life. I wish I'd known that there's another picture of family completely that may not necessarily involve two parents, and that could even be a result of one parent passing away. But yeah, I just wasn't flexible in that way. So I wish I had learned to be more flexible in knowing that life doesn't always go according to plan, and that it is okay, and that you can handle whatever happens to you in life. Because growing up in such a box really limits you in how you think. And I'm so glad that I was able to travel the world a little bit. I was able to see and open my eyes to different people, to different things, to different opinions, to different perspectives, to different cultures, to different lives, to different religions. I was able to see that. So I know that so many of us have probably grown up in good homes, and so many of us have not grown up in good homes. But what are some things in your childhood that you wish you'd learned earlier on that you're probably only learning now as an adult? No problem with this. Everybody has their own journey, has their own timing. But it's one of those, man, I wish I'd known back then, I wouldn't have done that thing, right? But I am happy and so excited with where I'm at in life, and I keep learning every day. But I do intend on teaching my little girl life lessons, like intentional time, teaching her life lessons, just preaching at her or speaking at her, but really teaching her important life lessons, really being firm on things like saving your money. The moment she gets her first job, we're sitting down and we're gonna be like, girl, this is what we're doing. This is what I hope to do for my family. This is what I intend to do, because I wish that somebody had done that for me. I wish somebody had really taught me more things to broaden my horizon and the way I think and the way that I see life. So I just thought I should share about the things that I really wish I'd learned in my childhood. What are some things that you wish you'd learned in your childhood that you're only learning now as an adult, and who taught you those things? I will make a video on the great life lessons that I learned growing up, but this was just something that I really had been thinking about as I am preparing to be a girl mom. I'm like, okay, what are the things that I'm only starting to learn now that I wish I had known way earlier in my life, that would have been helping me and that would have put me in a better position to be a good mother, to be a good person, to be a good partner, to be a good manager in the future. So yeah, feel free to share some of the childhood lessons that you learned that were really good, and some things that you wish you'd learned back then that you're only learning now. All right, so Babs and I are doing well. We're about to be meeting very, very soon. So I hope everybody's gonna have another good week. So see you next week for the next video.